Welcome back into the channel. It's your boy Steve from Straight Fire Picks. We're back with your best bets for the NBA. Here for you on Tuesday, April 15, 2025. NBA player props, spreads, totals, predictions. As always, guys, we got 4 picks in the video. Y'all ready to make some money today? Let's get after it, get the sweep. It's the play-in tournament, guys. Let's lock in.
Well, my presence isn't real. It's another bad one like this is scale. It's straight fire. All my bets straight from. You're in the house that Parlay now. Straight fire.
As always, if y'all are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Always appreciate that. On the road to 9,000 subscribers. We're just 20 away, guys. Let's try to knock that out today. Would really appreciate that. Make sure you guys also hit that like button if you're a returning viewer. Share it with your friends, guys. Share the love. Let's have a great day in the NBA today. Let's start with a recap from NBA Sunday. Obviously, the NBA was off yesterday. So from Sunday, we ended up going 1-2, minus 1.07 units. Obviously, it was not our best day. But we ended up salvaging the day. We ended up cashing yet another spread. We've been on fire with our spreads lately. 13-4 in our last 17 NBA spreads. We cashed the Denver Nuggets minus 9.5. Pretty sweat-free overall. The Rockets made a little bit of a run there in the fourth quarter to get it semi-close, but we still ended up cashing that fairly easily. Would you like to see that? We missed on Zach LaVine over 22.5 points. The issue was in the third quarter, you look up at the scoreboard, you see that the Mavericks are getting killed. The Kings saw that there was no reason to play the starters anymore. There was nothing on the line. So LaVine got benched from like the mid-third quarter to the end of the game, which at that point he had 16 points. So there was definitely a good chance he would have obviously hit that over. And unfortunately, it just did not work out. And then Jimmy Butler just set out to embarrass us, right? We took his under 5.5 assists versus the Clippers, thinking, oh, this is going to be a great defensive game. Clippers going to get after it defensively. Well, this game ended up, for one, going to overtime, being a very high-scoring game. And Butler cashed his assist prop over at halftime. He had 6 at the half. Ended up finishing the game with 8. So, obviously, that definitely hurt, guys. It was definitely not our best day in the NBA, but that's okay. We've been on fire in the NBA pretty much all season. And we're going to bounce back today, guys. It's inevitable. But our Comet Capper recap, I'm going to start with Saturday because I missed our Saturday Comet Capper recap. We had Eric Me calling Jackson Hayes over 5.5 points from Saturday. That cashed. And Tevin Herndon calling Jason Tatum under 38.5 PRAs from Saturday. That also cashed. From Sunday, we had Demetrius Smith calling the Nuggets and Kings first half money lines in a parlay. Those both cashed, obviously. And then got to get the bag, calling Kawhi Leonard over 29.5 points and rebounds. And then Justin McKelvey calling the Heat Wizards over 215.5 points. Love to see it, guys. Great call. It's from our Comet Cappers. But we got a new day here in the NBA. Make sure you guys drop your favorite pick below. If you guys like to participate in our Comet Capper section, just put a star or an asterisk next to your pick, and we'll include your pick in the video if it hits. So let's have a big day in the NBA, guys. We're set up. We got our Major League Baseball Best Bets video out as well. There's 5 picks in that video, so 9 picks across the channel. We're probably not going to have an MVP exclusive play of the day today. We may, though. It's possible. May have one, but as of right now, probably not. 9 plays is probably enough for one day. So it's a big day for us here at the channel. Let's get after it. Let's lock in. If you guys are interested in any links as far as social media, membership, merchandise, all those links are down below in the pinned comment and description. You guys can get access to our merchandise, membership, social media. Great ways to connect with the community. For our membership, just so you guys know, you do get access to all of our picks and our plays a couple hours in advance of the video if you guys are interested in that. That is posted in the community tab. Also, our MVP exclusive picks of the day, which are also posted in the community tab. We usually put a bunch of that stuff out. Like I said, today, not so sure we're going to have an MVP player or not. Just keep that in mind. All right, let's get after it today, guys. Let's get right into our picks here. At number 1, we're going Onyeka Okongwu. Over 27.5 PRAs here for the Atlanta Hawks. We're going minus 110 odds here on DraftKings. Love this look today on Okongwu. You wouldn't know it by looking at the specific matchup. If you look at the defense versus position, you might go, huh, that's interesting. The Magic seem to be pretty good defensively. Well, they haven't been quite as good versus centers. Now, they're still pretty good. They're allowing, they're 10th in points allowed to centers, as far as 10th fewest points allowed to centers. So not in the top 10 anymore, whereas they were most of the year. and 18th most rebounds allowed to center, so fluctuating back towards the middle of the pack there. Now, what makes sense about that is the Magic have gone a bit smaller in a lot of their games of late. And in the last time they played Atlanta, they went with a lineup with Boncaro at the 4, Wendell Carter at the 5, and Isaac coming off the bench. It seemed like they were going a bit smaller that game. Obviously, Okongwu is kind of like a hybrid center. He kind of like looks more like a power forward at times. And he could shoot the 3, which is very advantageous here for us. He was 4 for 7 from 3 the last time he played the Hawks. He put up 48 PRAs. So really, that was an eye popper on the chart, guys. When I was looking at the logs today, I was like, man, that's 20 above the number we need today. 20. In a game where you know Okongwu is going to probably play 40 minutes today. He played 40 minutes in that game in a must-win game. This is the play-in tournament, guys. It doesn't get any more must-win than that. So I'm expecting Okongwu to play about 40 minutes. He's going to be on the court a lot. And matchup aside, if you're on the court that much, and he really has to do some damage for the Hawks to stay in this one, I really like the odds of him hitting this over. I think this line is just set too low for this specific spot. We know the Magic are a good defensive team, not taking anything away from them there. And Okongwu, if he's trying to get points in the paint, it's probably going to be tough. But as far as holistically, looking at assists, rebounds, and points, to get 28 in this type of game where he's going to be playing probably 40 minutes, and he's also had pretty good hit rates on the road as well lately. He's 5 of his last 10, but 7 of his last 10 on the road, which you like seeing that. Like I said, the last time he played the Hawks, the last time he played the Magic, he had 4 threes. He shot 7 of them. So I think that's where he could give the Magic trouble. Obviously, if the Magic do happen to have bigs in there, bigger guys in there, obviously the mobility is obviously limited. Whereas Okongwu has more mobility for a center than most. I'd say, like I said, he could stretch a defense by shooting. He's actually a pretty good 3-point shooter now, which is really interesting. So obviously, would love to see him knocking down threes. That'll get us there pretty quick. But yeah, like I said, I see big minutes, high stakes game. The Magic haven't been quite as good versus the position. A lot of that actually has to do with Okongwu, and I think Okongwu could really take advantage. At least go for 28 PRAs. Like I said, he cleared this by 20 the last time he played the Magic, so I think he's in line here to hit this over. So love it there for number 1 pick, guys. Get Onyeka Okongwu over 27.5 PRAs here for the Atlanta Hawks. Going minus 110 odds here on DraftKings. Excuse me. Okay, and at number 2, we're going with the Memphis Grizzlies. Plus 7.5 spread here versus the Golden State Warriors. Got minus 110 odds here on BetRivers. Yeah, this is an interesting one. If you guys have been watching the media, any of the really sports media outlets, a lot of them are already talking about the Warriors-Rockets matchup. As like this game is a foregone conclusion. Warriors going to win at home. It's going to be easy, on to the next round. I don't know, guys. I have a feeling that the Grizzlies can actually keep this game close and that they're going to have a shot to win. There's a few different things going on here. For one, Jimmy Butler, if you guys noticed at the end of that Clippers game, got a little banged up, banged his knee up a bit in that game versus the Clippers. Now, not listed on the injury report, but that's something that could definitely affect him if he's not 100%. Definitely can affect his movement, which can make a big impact on his play. And then obviously Stephen Curry is dealing with some type of thumb injury as well. Again, not listed on the injury report. It's just something that that Steve talked about, and I'm like, that's interesting. Yeah, that definitely brings things back a little bit. We're like, well, if we're gonna have something that could directly affect our highest scorer in Stephen Curry in a game where they're gonna need him to score a lot, that could be a big thing. And Curry typically has had great success versus the Grizzlies. Like I said, in this spot, if you got something going on with your shooting hand, that obviously could cause you problems. But coming into this game, we've seen the Grizzlies actually close the season on a little bit more of a high note, right? They did fire Taylor Jenkins, obviously, which at the time was really interesting. But they ended up going 4-2 over the last 6 games, finishing the season 13th in offensive rating, 8th in defensive rating over those last 6 games. So they didn't play bad down the stretch. They definitely had some solid wins over Detroit versus Miami. Had some obviously highly competitive games with the Nuggets there as well on the road. So It's interesting. I see this as a spread that's just set a little bit too high for me. This is obviously a high-stakes game. I think this is a game the Grizzlies are going to get up for. I think there's a lot of motivation, a lot of bad blood, really on both sides. So you're going to see both teams fired up to play each other. These teams, when they get together, it always brings out some type of spirit. As far as with Draymond Green, Jaren Jackson Jr., Ja Morant, there's going to be a lot of fire out there in this game. And I see that, and I see this being a competitive, close game. I don't see this being a blowout by any means. I think you also look at the past as far as with the Warriors in the play-in tournament. They have not played well in this spot. This has not been one of their favorite spots. Stephen Curry specifically is 0-3 in the play-in tournament. So like I said, do I think the Grizzlies particularly win this game? I'm not taking them to win, but I definitely think they keep this game close, and I think this is gonna be a nail biter. I think it's gonna be a great game. We saw the last time these two teams played, this game was tied heading into the fourth quarter, and the Warriors won the fourth quarter by 9. So technically they covered the spread. But I think in this particular spot, I think the Grizzlies get up for this one. I think they show up. I think they haven't really been talked about. It's been about the Warriors and, what are the Warriors going to do versus the Rockets when they get there. I'm like, Grizzlies might be like, hey, don't forget about us over here. We do have Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., a pretty loaded bench. They have a lot of talent on this team. I don't think it's any surprise that the Grizzlies are 48-34 on the season. Like I said, talent-wise, it's one of the more talented teams out there. It's just, can they put it all together as a team and play as a team and put all the silly stuff aside, like, Ja's extracurricular antics and stuff. If they can put that stuff aside, I think this team could definitely compete today. So, love it there for number 2 pick, guys. We got the Memphis Grizzlies plus 7.5 spread here versus the Golden State Warriors. Minus 110 odds on BetRivers. Okay, at number 3, we're going Stephen Curry over 10.5 rebounds and assists. Minus 103 odds on BetRivers. Risking a unit here. See, I did mention that thumb injury, right? So, if for some reason, now I'm not saying that it's necessarily going to affect him because the dude's Stephen Curry. He's probably going to shoot well either way, to be honest with you. But if that thumb injury does affect his shooting, could be seeing more passing from him. Obviously, setting up his teammates more, that's definitely a possibility. And this is also just a great spot for him on rebounds and assists versus a Grizzlies team that's obviously high-paced. And they allow a lot of rebounds, 2-point guards. The last 15 games, Grizzlies are allowing the 5th most rebounds to point guards, which I like seeing that. Now, if you guys remember, they're allowing the 21st most assists, so they've been better versus the assists lately. But we were taking point guards versus the Grizzlies on assist props just about every game. I don't think that's necessarily gone away. I think there's some things that have happened as far as, who they played. They played the 76ers, or they played, they rested all their stars. I mean, there's a lot of skewed data, I think, over the last few games. I always know that rebounds and assists are usually a thing versus the Grizzlies for point guards. And Curry really proved that the last time he played the Grizzlies. He posted 10 rebounds and 8 assists in that game in Memphis. So we were on his assists that day, and he put up 8. Like I said, he had 10 rebounds. So that's why I really like, he almost cashed it rebounds alone, which is really why I like this line, guys. I think there's a good chance that Curry, racks up a lot of rebounds and assists here in this particular spot. Like I said, you can see him pass more. It's going to be a high-paced matchup. I think you'll see a lot of rebound chances for him. You also could see increased minutes from him as well. So you guys know how important this game is, obviously, to get into the playoffs. You could see, obviously a shorter rotation, which is honestly what we're expecting across the NBA for everybody. For all your starters, you're expecting more minutes today. So obviously that only helps us here on a line like this, where it's not like too offensive oriented. I think when it's kind of scary when you get into the situation where you take like points overs and stuff in playoff games because things get tight. But if you take like rebound and assist lines, normally that's not too bad of a way to go. Just because rebounds, right? Missed shots. Like I said, he almost cashed this with just rebounds last time he played him. So, love it there, guys. For our number 3 pick, we got Stephen Curry over 10.5 rebounds and assists. Minus 103 odds on BetRivers. Okay, and finally at number 4, we got Wendell Carter Jr. under 11.5 points here for the Orlando Magic. Going minus 115 odds here on Fanatics. Risking a unit here, I just think personally, guys, this is a line to me that's just a little bit too high. I see Wendell Carter Jr.'s line should be at 8.5 to 9.5. Anytime I see it up at 11.5, I'm always tempted to take the under. And actually, this is a pretty tough matchup of late for centers. The Hawks are actually allowing the fourth fewest points to centers over the last 15 games. So that's obviously pretty solid. And we've seen Wendell Carter actually go under in 3 or 4 matchup with the Hawks this season. So last time he played him, he did put up 17 in that game on the 8th. But I think you won't see that consistently. I think you see him go under. He's under in 69% of games this season, 74% under at home. So obviously like that. Last 10, he's under in 6 of the last 10, including 5 of the last 6. So offensively, he is just not the guy they go to. Obviously, it's Paolo Banchero and it's Franz Wagner in this offense, and that's pretty much it. And outside of that, the rest just get the scraps. So that's exactly, I think, what Wendell Carter Jr. does. You know, he may get some cleanups on the offensive glass. It's the only thing that really worries you. He's a spot-up 3-point shooter. He can knock down threes at times, but for the most part, if you're relying on centers to consistently make threes, that's not usually a thing that happens. But in this particular spot, guys, Wendell Carter's not the guy that gets his own offense, which is why I like taking his under. And I think we have a great chance here to hit this under. Like I said, the line's too high for the type of playoff intensity and defense that I think you'll see today. Like I said, as far as points overs, I'm always very scared to take points overs in the playoffs just because obviously things ramp up, right? Guys play harder. The effort level's more there. The defense tightens up usually a little bit. And I think here, like I said, with Wendell Carter Jr., I just really see him going under. The over-under for this game is set to 216.5. So the over-under is a lot lower than it has been. You know, if you look through the history of the Hawks and Magic, they've hit this over, as far as points over, a lot during the regular season. But you notice the books dropped the points line, the total points for the game down to 216.5, which usually is a good indication that we're expecting this to be a bit more of a slugfest. Bit more defense here, and I think Wendell Carter here stays under. So, love it there for number 4 pick, guys. We got Wendell Carter Jr. under 11.5 points here for the Orlando Magic, minus 115 on Fanatics. All right, guys, that's going to do it for our picks. If you guys enjoyed the content, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. As always, appreciate that. On the road to 9,000 subscribers. Like I said, we're just 20 away, so if we could get there today, that would be amazing. So if you guys could help me out with that, that would be great. Share the video with friends and things like that. Consider becoming a Straight Fire MVP, guys. I talk about it a good bit, but it is a great value. You get it for $3.99 for the entire month. You get access to all of our picks and our plays early. So these plays were actually posted prior to 6 a.m. Once again this morning. If you guys want early access to the plays, you also get access to our Straight Fire MVP pick of the day. Usually we have that daily. Like I said, today may or may not happen. There's a couple things going on. There's only 2 games in the NBA. So I probably would have one for baseball if I have one. And I also have a bit of scheduling conflict this afternoon where I'm just not sure exactly how it's going to work out. So we'll see what happens. But I appreciate you guys in either way. And hopefully we can have a big day across the channel. We got 9 picks already. That's probably enough anyway. We have a lot of action today, so hopefully we have a big day and lock in. So appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you next time. Peace out.